In this episode, we talk about money, personal finances, and budgeting, why it sucks, but how to make it easy. This is episode 35 of the Inside Real Estate Show with me, Darren Persinger. I'm your host here, also with Persinger Group Real Estate, where we give you the insight behind the information, giving you the analysis and advice so you can make smart home buying, home selling, and real estate investing decisions. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Inside Real Estate. If this is your first time watching or listening, let me just lay out the framework here of how these episodes go. We have 3 segments. We start off with a number of the day, then we go into some housekeeping, and then we get into the main topic. And that main topic is going to be about budgeting. Now, I know that might not be an exciting topic, a sexy topic. I mean, heck, even really just an enjoyable, entertaining topic. If you're sticking around with me here, we're probably about a minute into the show, and I said we're talking about budgeting, and you're here. Thank you, because I promise that I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do everything I can to make this an exciting, interesting, but more importantly, a valuable topic. Because there's only so much excitement you can really do with budgeting, but I'm going to give you some insights on how to make budgeting easier and why I personally think from personal experience, because I was not great with budgeting. I've never been that great with budgeting the way that you're supposed to budget, at least. I've never been that great at saving money. I didn't become that good at saving money until I met my wife. So, I mean, there's one tip for you. Make sure you pick out a significant other that has strengths versus your weaknesses. That's probably my biggest tip right there. Just find a great significant other that can help you with that stuff. With that being said, let's talk about the number of the day.
What's the number? Stop, stop. What's the number? Stop, stop. What is the number? The number of the day.
63. Now, I know I did an episode 33 just a couple episodes ago. I did a number that was 63.5. And so this number is 63. I got to get some more variation in my numbers, but it is a different number. This is 63%. This comes from a survey from bankrate.com that 63% of Americans don't have an emergency fund. They don't have some money saved up in case a $1,000 emergency popped up. Almost 2/3 of Americans don't have $1,000 in case an emergency shows up in their life. Now, I think that plays well with why we're doing this show, this topic today, this episode on budgeting, because obviously there's 2/3 of us, me included, that aren't that great at this. I'm better because I follow my 5 simple steps that make budgeting easy that I'm going to share with you later. But that is a scary state, and I just want to give a theory before I go on to the housekeeping of why I think that is. When I look at my youth, being a child, growing up in the house that I grew up in, my parents didn't use credit cards. Credit cards are really a more common, everyone seems to have credit cards now. My parents, I don't really remember them ever having a credit card, at least when I was really young in the 80s. And so they only spent what they had. I think it makes it so easy that credit is so accessible to us. So many people have credit cards. That would be a great number of the day of the average number of credit cards that one person has. I'll look that up for you. We'll do that sometime in the future because I think that number is probably higher than 5 actually. So I just think we rely on our credit cards as our emergency fund instead of actually having an emergency fund in place. 63.5. If you are one of those, or no, 63.5 was the number we did in episode 33. This one's just 63. Number of the day is just 63. If you are in that 63%, you're going to find a lot of value in today's main topic. With that, let's go into our housekeeping.
Housekeeping!
So you're either watching the show or you're listening to the show. There's no one here live. Not a huge live audience for me. But if you're watching the show either on YouTube or on our website, InsideRealEstateShow.com, I wanted to make sure that you know how to subscribe to our channel so that if you're not getting alerts from our email list, if you're not on that, if you're not in the area and there's no reason for you to be on our email list to get local market updates, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and get notified when we do new shows. If you're on the podcast, any one of the number of great podcast platforms out there, two main ones, Stitcher and iTunes, make sure you subscribe to this show so you always get an update of new episodes coming out. So that's all I want to cover for the housekeeping. Make sure you are subscribed. Do that right now. And now let's get into the main topic. You don't actually need to budget if you follow these 5 simple steps that I'm about to lay out for you. But let me tell you why first I think budgeting is not easy, why people don't budget. Today's main topic is budgeting, and a lot of people will say you need to budget. If you want to get good with your personal finances, you have to have a budget. My response to that would be maybe, maybe not. Maybe there's an alternative method to it, and I'm going to share that with you today. But first, let me share with you why I think budgets don't work for the majority of us, okay? Number one, budgets, the format that we see tend to focus on the minutia, focuses on tracking every single expenditure. I don't know about you, but how much time do you really have in your life with the more demands that we have on our time than ever to track all those expenditures? When we're focused on these little expenditures right now, we're not focused on the big picture. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about, getting focused on the big picture. Because why are you tracking all these things? What's the real reason? What's the outcome that you really want? Is it because you just want a balanced checking account at the end of the month? That's not that motivating. That doesn't inspire anyone. You need to get focused on a big picture idea of why you're doing this in the first place. Reason budgets don't work, number 2. Budgets typically don't account for life happening. You can go through, look at your last 90 days of expenditures, go, here's how much I typically spend eating out, here's how much my electrical bill is, here's how much my water bill is, and now I'm going to account for this moving forward this month. And then all of a sudden, you get a flat tire, or you get invited to a weekend getaway with some friends that you weren't planning on, or your cousin that lives across the country just got engaged and is going to get married next month, and you have to go to that wedding. There's so many things that you can't account for, and sure, you can put down this miscellaneous category, but that's what budgeting is not supposed to be, is for this fuzzy stuff. And there's so much fuzzy stuff happening with life. That's what life is. It's gray. It's stuff that happens in between the lines. So budgeting just doesn't account for life happening. And the best thing that you can do if you do have a budget is you have to have a method that allows you to roll with the punches. The reason why budgets don't work, number 3, just takes too much work. It just takes a lot of work to first figure out how much you should be spending or can be spending, then tracking those expenditures to make sure you're actually on track with everything. So let me share with you what I call budgeting made easy. It's 5 steps, 5 parts here of what you can do instead of tracking, getting caught in the minutia of not being able to account for life just happening and getting caught up with all the work of tracking all of that, and instead of being disciplined and just sticking to it all the time because you know you're not going to. Listen to these 5 parts and see if this makes sense, if this could work for you. So step number 1 in budgeting made easy. You set a specific long-term goal. This could be 10, 20, 30, 50 years out. It could be something like your retirement, buying a vacation home, buying a yacht, being able to sell everything and travel somewhere to start building schools for orphans. Whatever your long-term goal is, make sure it's minimum 10 years out. Step number 1, set a very specific long-term goal. Number 2, set a very specific mid-range goal. And that would be something that's 3 to 5 years out. So that could be something like paying off all of your debt, saving up for a down payment for a house, something that you can get really keyed into and focused in just the next 3 to 5 years. Number 3, know what that expense will be, or the goal dollar amount is. Know that exact amount, and then know how much out of each paycheck you exactly need to put into an account. Number 4, you put that exact amount into a separate special account. Don't commingle funds. Don't let your checking, your savings, and this mid-range and long-range goals be all one account. Keep it segmented, keep it separated, so that in your mind you know, you can see this is for something different, this is for this is for this, and this is for this. That's step 4. Number 5, you simply live off of whatever you have left over. So whatever your X amount is after you put that money away for that mid-range or long-range goal, if you have enough money to go out to eat every day or get coffee every day or go on a weekend getaway every single weekend, if you've set up those other things and you can still do those things, do those things. There's no reason to hold back from doing that if you're still going to hit your goals on the timeline that you want to achieve those goals. Now, you could always speed them up if you have a large percentage left over. Those are the 5 easy steps. Instead of tracking every little penny, every little dime, and trying to account for every expenditure, just know what your mid-range, long-range goals are, know the amount, put the money in that account, live off of whatever is left over. I hope that helps you with your budgeting. I do have another episode where I talk about 3 tips on how to save for a down payment. That's episode 27. If you're watching though, look for a little pop out right here. That is a quick way to cut out some big expenses and save money quickly. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. Instead of trying to save a penny here or a dime here, save the money first and then just live. Because living is important, and so is finding a home that you love. Because remember, home is what you make it, so make it someplace you love.